Van Lathan, co-host on his podcast, Rachel Lindsay, is getting a lot of backlash right now. Now, the backlash he's getting is well-deserved and well-earned. The backlash is stemming from Rachel Lindsay essentially making up her mind that Jay-Z is guilty. There's no facts that can come out that's going to exonerate Jay-Z in the minds of Rachel Lindsay. It doesn't matter that the witness admitted to lying. It doesn't matter there was inconsistencies. It doesn't matter that Jay-Z wasn't even present at the particular party and date that she claimed Jay-Z was present for during the assault. Right? It doesn't matter. Rachel Lindsay has made up her mind that Jay-Z is guilty. Now, initially, she got some backlash due to how she handled the Jay-Z news, right? When it first dropped, Rachel Lindsay came on the podcast and began to use Jay-Z lyrics to indict him.
Because you asked Megan, like, these cases are hard to prove, right? Especially so long ago. There's so many different factors that make it hard. It's harder for the plaintiff to be able to prove her case. And you said, what are some things that may come up that may help hurt this case, provide more insight? One of the things they will do are go through Jay-Z songs. I think. Why would you not? Why would you not go through lyrics? I kill a block. I murder the avenues. I rape and pillage your village, women and children.
Rachel.
It's Jay-Z lyrics.
Rachel, come on, man.
Stuff like that is so silly. It's even hard to really compute it. So she starts off by saying cases like this, things that happened 20 plus years ago, is really hard to prove. So let me give you guys a nugget to how they could prove this. They could go to Jay-Z lyrics and show that Jay-Z is admitting here to rapping about raping women and children when that's not even close to what Jay-Z was rapping about. Bruh, I was so baffled. Me and Van Lathan was both baffled because Rachel Lindsay is known. She has the reputation of being an intellectual, hyper-intellectual. So for her to make this comparison is kind of like, bro, what do you... It feels like she's going out of her way to pull at straws here, man, to indict Jay-Z. Because she could clearly listen to those lyrics, read those lyrics. She could even close her eyes and have somebody else read it for her. And she would understand that Jay-Z was rapping from the perspective of a colonizer, an oppressor, exploitators in the culture. He wasn't saying that he raped women and children. He wasn't even saying that they raped women and children.
No. Don't come on me. I am saying, would they not, if I was an attorney, I would look for anything if there's not a lot out there, right? Because I agree with what Megan said. They put pictures of the things in the civil suit, and it's like, what is this? But if I'm an attorney, I'm looking for everything. It is not. We saw it with Atlanta with the RICO case.
Do you think?
How do you not look at? Like, I get what you're saying. Oh, come on, Rachel, but it's not crazy for people to look up lyrics to songs and say, why did you say this? What does it mean?
So this is my only thing about that, and I get it.
Get mad at me if you want, y'all. Not you.
I'm not getting mad at you.
But I'm just saying, it is a Jay-Z lyric.
This isn't a situation where Young Thug has a RICO and then Young Thug is rapping about doing crimes under a criminal organization called YSL in his songs. This is not that. This is a completely unrelated lyric that has nothing to do with Jay-Z raping women and children, where you're now trying to use that to apply it to Jay-Z raping women. Like, do you understand where the correlation doesn't lie here, bruh? Now, Rachel Lindsay, I give her slack, right? Because this was right when the news broke. And when we learned from the Diddy situation is, when giving your favorite celebrity the benefit of the doubt, things usually end bad, right? So this is right when the news broke. So I give her some slack, even though I think it's highly unfair, that she begins to critique Jay-Z and say that Jay-Z coming out initially and giving a statement she don't like it because it's victim blaming. Excuse me? Jay-Z coming out and defending himself is apparently victim blaming to Rachel Lindsay.
But I will say, I will talk about what is directly in front of us. I'm going to talk about this Roc Nation statement. What I don't like in this statement, and it's something that you mentioned when we were talking to Megan, the biggest thing for Jay-Z is the public perception. How will the public see him after these type of allegations are linked with his name? We've never seen anything like this before. The statement that he makes plays into what you said about public perception. And I think that's some of the things. The shifting it to don't focus on me, focus on Tony Busby. I don't like that. Like, I don't like I would have rather not seen a statement and him have his lawyers work this out. Maybe there is blackmail. Maybe there is extortion. You filed a suit. He filed something. You filed something. He filed something again, amended the complaint to now naming you. Handle it in court. I understand the desire to want to address the public and not want your name attached to this. I would neither. But that's a tactic to switch the focus to talking about Tony Busby, talking about the person he is, calling him a deplorable human.
Tactic don't necessarily means a deceptive strategy. However, in this context, it feels like that's what she's saying. And for her to say she has an issue with them pointing out the fact that Tony Busby is a con artist, he's a con attorney, he's somebody who's been trying to extort celebrities for years, to have a problem with them pointing that out in defense of himself, it's sort of like saying, hey, bruh, I would rather you lay down and allow these narratives to go out there with your name on it. I would rather you put out this like PR statement or don't put out, no, she said don't put out no statement at all. She would rather the lawyers just file motions and have the public make up their mind themselves, right? Can you imagine Jay-Z letting this fester in the public? Can you imagine Jay-Z not saying nothing, him being completely quiet, and then having us fester, and then having us wonder, oh my God, is this true? Is this not true? And then having us read through it, and then having us hear this quote unquote autistic woman come on air and recount her story against Jay-Z, and we looking like, bruh, without Jay-Z saying a word and having us go on for months or years. Jay-Z staying quiet is how con artists like Tony Busby is able to operate, and that's how they were able to operate for so long, extorting celebrities, because celebrities will pay the $100,000 as hush fee, right? So they don't have to deal with this mess and pay for attorneys who's going to cost them millions of dollars and have to go through this limbo and have the reputation marred in the public, right? So Tony Busby understands this, and he would pay, and he would extort them. They pay the $100,000, he goes away. So Jay-Z's saying, hell nah, and not happening. And for Rachel Lindsay as a black woman, to have an issue with this is kind of like, bro, whoa, huh? I don't know. This is, now I don't want to compare her to this person, bro, but this is very Malika Andrews-esque, if you know what I'm talking about, bro. This sounds like something from the very mouth of Malika Andrews. Malika Andrews could have very well drafted up this statement for Rachel Lindsay.
But then in the same sentence saying, if you really were about, paraphrasing, the victims, then you would file a criminal complaint. Well, here's the thing. I asked Megan that question, right? Why didn't he file? That's a lot of times when people file civil suits and you could file, there's a possibility of filing a criminal complaint. Mm-hmm. People will say, well, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you seek justice to lock this person up? Well, this was alleged to happen in 2000. Under New York state law, which is more normally a sexual assault is handled on the state level. Could be federal, but that's not really up to a Tony Busby. So I'll address that one first. Not up to Tony Busby can't say, I'm going to file a federal criminal complaint. No, that has to be in conjunction with some type of government agency, FBI doing some type of an investigation. The U.S. Attorney's Office has to be involved. Tony Busby can't say, this is what I want to do. He can work in collaboration with them, but he can't do that on his own. So federally, that's out. That's why most of the time it's handled on a state level.
Van Lathan, co-host Rachel Lindsay, is getting a lot of backlash online right now, and I think the backlash is well-deserved. I think the backlash that she's getting right now is well-earned. And it's well-earned not because of being wrong in her prediction, but essentially doubling down in something that she knows she's wrong about. You see, when Jay-Z was first accused and Jay-Z came out and gave a statement about how he didn't do the things that Tony Busby was accusing him of doing, Rachel Lindsay, just like many people, came out and rushed ahead of the story, and they essentially labeled Jay-Z as guilty.
Well, under a state level, because the alleged victim was 15 at the time, 13, sorry. How old? 13 at the time. Yeah. It's considered a second degree, rape in the second degree. If she was between 11 and less than 13, it would be first degree. And there's an unlimited time under the statute of limitations. Like, there would be no statute of limitations. So there would be no
statute of limitations on it, yeah.
For second degree, under New York state law, it's 20 years. 20 years has passed.
It's passed, so maybe they couldn't.
Again, I would imagine that Jay-Z's lawyers had talked to him about that. So again, to throw in, well, if you wanted to do this, you would do this on a criminal level. He can't. So if he's if he's in good faith fighting for his client, then the only way that he can seek any type of retribution is on a civil level.
So she has an issue with Diddy going directly at Tony Busby. And she also has an issue with Jay-Z calling for this person who is now a 38-year-old woman, calling for this 38-year-old woman who's accusing him of doing these things 20 plus years ago at a party that he did not attend. According to him, she has an issue with him calling for her identity to be revealed and for her to stop hiding behind the veil of a Jane Doe. If she want to make these serious accusations against somebody, then she should put her name and face to it. Well, Rachel Lindsay believes, that's victim blaming. That's an attempt to intimidate this poor victim that we don't even know is a victim yet.
I just didn't like the way that this statement rolled out, because if you are concerned for the victim, then you wouldn't allege those things, and you wouldn't also turn it on. Don't focus on me, focus on this terrible attorney. You've already filed an extortion suit and you're handling it. To me, it seemed a little emotional, which I understand. You were being accused of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old minor. I get it.
You're pissed off.
I just was a little surprised at the way this statement read, as opposed to maybe something short and simple. We completely deny all the allegations against us. We will handle this in a legal matter we already have with an extortion suit.
There's something there.
Go ahead. I'm done, by the way.
Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake, I guess this means psychics. It says physics, but fake psychics will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me, that if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids will be laughable. He's assuming no one will believe it.
Yeah.
That's why he's not addressing the fact, hey, he's assuming that no one will believe it. He's saying, right.
But whatever. This was before a lot of the facts that we know now had came out. This was when the story first got dropped. So you can understand why there were speculations, why they were teetering in line of, is Jay-Z guilty? Is he not guilty? Rachel Lindsay appeared, though, to have fully made up her mind. Now we're sitting in a position 2 weeks later where we now know the victim lied. The victim story had inconsistencies. The victim had the timeline wrong by Jay-Z wasn't even at the party she claimed he was at. Diddy and Puff were at two different parties. The victim's father, who she claims is an alibi, who picked her up the night. He's saying, I don't know what she's talking about. She's crazy. We now know the victim has a mental illness, is autistic, right? We now see Tony Busby dealing with his multitude of fraud lawsuits and essay lawsuits as well. So we are now standing in a position now, bro, where at the very least, you have to say Jay-Z is innocent until proven guilty. At the very most, the victim is lying. This is a sham. This is fraudulent. But Rachel Lindsay, after hearing all the facts, after seeing everything come out, she's still dog whistling and trying to peddle this narrative that Jay-Z is guilty. And this got exposed when they had Jaleel White on a podcast. Now, they were speaking about the Jay-Z situation, and Rachel Lindsay wouldn't let it go. Like, she wouldn't just concede, yeah, bruh, this is pretty sketchy. Jay-Z probably didn't do this. She's still making up excuses.
You know, it was like even the situation that just happened with Jay-Z's Accuser. You know, I really hope that bigger publications give him the apology that's coming, that's deserved. Because I heard that the accuser's father came out on record and saying he has no record of ever having driven her.
Yeah, the case looks like a sham.
Okay, driven. Okay, that is a huge reveal. And all of the media outlets that have maligned him and run it as the clickbait that, you know, put this light on it, they're not going to spend nearly as much time retracting it.
That's one of the reasons why I respect Van Lathan probably more than anybody in media. To me, is academics and Van Lathan. Those are my two favorite media personalities. And probably Vlad TV and then Adam, you throw them in there too. But Van Lathan is very consistent, right? Van Lathan is somebody who leads with absolute no pride and no ego at all. You see Van said, hey, yeah, bruh, it's probably a sham. Van can admit, hey, listen, man, when this came out, I was fooled. I was got, right? She got me, but as I look further into it, man, it looks like a sham. But not Rachel Lindsay. No. Rachel Lindsay begins to blame the victim's inconsistencies, including her father coming out and saying that he doesn't remember anything she's saying and damn near condemning the accusations. Rachel Lindsay is trying to take that L for the victim and attach it to Jay-Z as if it's Jay-Z's fault the father of the victim is coming out and condemning his daughter for these false accusations.
I think that we have learned.
She doesn't remember.
I think that we have learned on this podcast in particular to, when something like this falls out or rolls out, right? Jay-Z's not the first. We've talked about other people when there have been
not the first to what
when there have been accusations that have been made against someone. Thank you. To be clear, when there have been accusations made, and so when we try to speak on it, I try not to say I believe this or I don't believe this or this is not true or I'm picking a side.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to maintain that same energy, even though everybody thinks that I am picking a side. I'm going to wait for this to see. I'm not in a place where I can say he's already owed an apology. I'm not in a place to say...
It's not enough for you that there's no criminal charges and that the girl's father says she didn't...
Well, there can't be criminal charges because the statute of limitations has run on what that charge would be in the state of New York. There can't be any federal charges because that has to be brought by a government agency.
What about the girl's father saying he doesn't remember driving his daughter?
I said that's the most damning thing. That's pretty rough. I also said that the father coming out is also weird to me. Like coming out and making a statement in front of the press.
Why isn't it more weird? The father coming out making a statement because he's associated with that's his daughter. First of all, let me tell you something. Hold on, because I'm a girl dad. So that one,
do you think you would come out?
There's no way in the world my daughter could be involved with something like that, and I'm not standing right by her side. There's no way in the world. If my daughter was involved in something like that,
would you come out against your daughter?
Damn right, if my 38-year-old grown woman daughter is trying to lie and carry out a sham of a lawsuit just for money, and then wants to include me in the lie so I could be prosecuted too. No, I'm calling it out. Damn right I wasn't there. Damn right I don't recall. I don't know what she's talking about. Damn right it's a lie. This is not a situation where people are trying to paint it as they keep saying daughter, daughter, daughter. Technically, yeah, that's his daughter, but this is a 38-year-old grown woman who's telling these stories. And if a 38-year-old grown woman, my daughter or not, try to implicate me in a lawsuit this big, knowing damn well I have no idea what she's talking about, I'm coming out and publicly denouncing it, as everybody should. Right? That's like, for example, you got a daughter who goes out and she out here murdering men and robbing them. And she gets arrested. Are you not going to come out and denounce her if she says, oh, well, my dad helped me rob these men. My dad taught me how to rob these men. What do you say? Huh? I don't know what she's talking about. I never told her such a thing.
I think the latter conversation with...
Right. Publicly saying, publicly not showing support for your daughter's claim.
That's what I'm saying is weird.
That's what Rachel said.
That's just odd behavior.
And by the way, just to let you know...
There's nothing odd about that, man. It looks like Rachel Lindsay is doing everything in her power, man, to make these accusations stick on Jay-Z. Now, it's a shame to me because Rachel Lindsay has always been somebody who I thoroughly enjoyed in the past. I love her takes. I feel like she's great at what she does. And even though she is known, for dating, her preferences, she never really came across as if she despises or hated black men. In this situation, she's sounded eerily similar to Malika Andrews. And I can't help but think, do she hate men? Right? Now, I know it's unfair to jump to that conclusion, bruh, but for her to be this stubborn when it comes to a case that's clearly fraudulent is kind of like, bruh, can a man do anything to ever clear his name of these accusations? Y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, right? And if you're still watching, click on this video somewhere on my screen to find out how Lil Durk is in for a world of trouble, man. This new evidence proves that Lil Durk is a serial killer. Click on this video right here to find out what I'm talking about. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.